unlikely. Very unlikely. So imagine the frustration that you will feel, the discomfort that you will feel, the lack of tranquility and contentment in your heart you will feel in that exam, that you feel that, okay, I am now at a loss. I'm not going to be successful. Yeah. Success in this life is not only knowing who's the best girlfriend or wife or a partner, what is the best job, what is the best restaurant, what's the best thing to wear. Success in this life also means being successful in your purpose in this life. So many of us, we think about death sometimes, not all the time. But if you were to concentrate on the death alone, you realize there is no guarantee when we're going to die. We can die young, or we can live a little bit longer in our old age. So if we die and then we realize that there was a purpose that we are supposed to fulfill, and it's now too late because death signals the journey to another phase in which there's no point turning back again to do that what you haven't done, what you're supposed to do. How would you feel? You would not feel tranquility in your heart, even thinking about death and being dead in that feeling. So knowing these questions about our very purpose of life not only gives you the tranquility, peace and comfort in your heart, but it then gives you an outlook to live in this life, and you'll find that outlook is one of some working in the harmony of this universe. Because the Creator did not create this universe where everyone can just go and plunder and loot and terrorize and oppress people. The Creator wants us to live in harmony and to live in peace and in tranquility, but also fulfill the rights of God as well as the rights of creation. Just like the creation has rights over us, God, our Creator, it's probably too early to bring the term God, the Creator of this cosmos has a right over us, who brought us into this existence. So it has a serious ramification in terms of how we see everything around us. For example, if I know that knowing that I am a creation of a Creator with certain obligations and prohibitions, I cannot wrong you, even though I had the ability to wrong you. I cannot commit oppression and injustice on you, even though I might have the power to do so. Like if I was a Brazilian drug lord, I can just go and kill everyone I like, and that's some people used to do. But as a Muslim, as a worshipper of God, or as a servant of God, as a creation of God, I know there are things that I have to do, that I have to fulfill the rights of God and the rights of the creation and live my life accordingly. So things I just mentioned, even though there may be intuitively in your hearts that you should not kill, that you should not cheat, that you should not lie, that you should not oppress, but what happens? The people who are removed from the belief in a Creator, it doesn't stop them from abusing what they know to be true. For example, how many times have you heard in the workplace or in your academic institutions, wherever you're studying, for example, if you are, that people lie constantly, consistently? I can tell you that my colleagues might say, I phone rings and say, tell them I'm not here. They might not realize that they're asking me to lie outright. Okay? People have to make it into their habit. But lying is what? Why am I going to lie? I mean, to bring about loss on someone else? Because the person who wanted some gain, some profit, something, that's why they wanted to speak to you, and then you're saying the person is not here. So when we have our understanding of our position here in this cosmos, it molds our life in a particular mold. And that mold, if you think about from the Islamic perspective, it brings about the better of the people. Our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Prophet Muhammad, which we consider to be the last of all the guides that God has sent, Creator has sent, he said he has been raised to perfect the nobility of character. Not that we don't know what a noble character is, but he came to perfect it. So his mission was to bring people back to the worship of God and have this relationship between the people so that people understand what they're here for. Because if we consider ourselves that this life is the end all, that's it, nothing else. Think about it. If this was our perspective, this is the only life, why am I restricted by this laws of this society, restricting my freedom, restricting my happiness, restricting my desires. Can I go, I mean, I'm not going to say it now personally now. Can someone who feels that this is their only life, what's stopping them going to rape someone to fulfill their desires, sexual desires? What's stopping someone to rob someone of their, the best prized, most, recent sports car or something along which is very valuable? What's stopping them? Because they want to be happy. So what's stopping people from being an anarchist? That I don't want to believe in your law and somehow be surrendering and submit to the law of the state. I want to live my life, what I think is best for me. Why is the society stopping me from having cannabis, from hearing, from all these drugs which recreational gives me pleasure, gives me happiness? If you think about it, if this was the outlook of a person who believes that this life is all there is, why would there be any restrictions placed on a person? These people should fight with all their might, with all their means against this. But people don't do that. People surrender to the laws of societies, laws of the land, and so on.
Look, I mean, the reason why we surrender ourselves, as you say, to laws and societies, because we know that we're all humans, right? And we all don't want suffering. We don't like suffering. We don't want to suffer ourselves, and we know to not suffer ourselves, we need to bind together as a society. Let me turn this political for a moment. We know we've got the mayoral elections coming up soon. We've got the elections to the London Assembly, and it's big in the news right now. And also what's big in the news is the lying. You brought up lying a few moments ago, and how actually in the workplace we are trained to lie, but I'm not here right now, or I'm out in this job. I can't take your call when you just don't want to take a difficult call. We've all done it. I'll admit to it. We've made white lies every now and again. But there's a line to those white lies, and then there's a line that is unacceptable to cross. And for example, our current politicians, I think, are breaking that line right now. Boris Johnson, particularly, who's the current Prime Minister of the UK, he's lying to us on a regular basis. And you may think his refurbishment of his recent flat, it's just a small flat, it's just refurbishment, it's just 50, 100,000, how many thousands of pounds it is, it's 200,000. Okay, well, it's 200,000 pounds. It's a small amount of money. We know for myself, it's certainly not a small amount of money, but it's part of a big picture, right? And our politicians right now are lying to us serially. But they are serial liars, and there's something really unacceptable about that, and it is against our moral principles, I think, personally. So, where do
you think the moral principle comes from?
Moral principle comes from us being humans, and because of that, us as humans, irregardless of what religion we are, or irregardless of what we believe in, we believe ourselves that we're humans as part of a society. And the reason why I'm not stabbing you right now to steal your microphone, which is because I'm a decent person and I know that's wrong. There's no consequence. I could, go and run, right? Okay, we don't do that because we're humans. And I'm not a religious person, and I'm not doing that because I believe God is going to punish me. I don't believe there's any going to be religious spirits that are going to harm my afterlife. I don't steal your microphone and stab you and run away because I believe that's wrong.
But do you fulfill the most essential rights of God, the reason why He created you? Because you talk about politics, you talk about how the mayors come and go, they change, and which would be the best mayor for London, for example. But I want to just bring back again to this existential questions. If there is a creator and there's reasons to believe there's a creator, and we just talked about how there has to be a necessarily thing that has to always exist. So whether this is matter or energy, something has to always exist. If we were to ponder a little bit further, what is the nature of that something that exists all the time, that brought about us with our intelligence on this planet Earth?
So I don't believe there is a person who brought us to this planet Earth. So I know the idea that there's somebody who brought us here, it doesn't exist for me. For me, it's all about what's happening around us right now. And again, I want to talk about society again. Like, we are a group of people and we live the world we live in. Nobody put me here. I came here by choice. You came here by choice. You came here because you believe you're doing the right thing. I came here out of curiosity, actually. We stumbled, me and my friend Alex here stumbled across Speaker's Corner just out of curiosity. I don't believe that I'm fulfilling a creator's plan or vision, because I don't believe there is a creator.
Yeah, the question.
But at the same time, like, that doesn't mean that we're completely different and alien people. I think we're all humans at the end of the day, and we all believe in similar things. And this is why I'm going to be very blunt now, and I'm going to say, look, when the elections are coming up, and you should all vote for Kam Balayev, who is actually is a Muslim himself. He's standing for the Renew Party, and he's trying to actually bring connections across people that wouldn't normally agree. We personally don't necessarily have...
As a Muslim candidate, is he going to bring about the laws from Islam in the Parliament to be implemented in the British society?
He is not going to support Sharia law. He's very much for freedom. And you talked about freedom earlier on.
So there's a contradiction in terms of that, because if you're a Muslim, if you're a believer in Islam, and then you want God's law not to be implemented, but someone else's law who are deficient in every single way from the knowledge and wisdom of God. So I want to just bring Alex in here on these questions about the existential questions that we're discussing. Having a common understanding that there is something that exists always, what are the ways we can find out about the nature of this something?
This is exactly what I mentioned earlier. Like this kind of eternal thing, whatever that is. I think it's like this continuity somehow. Like this, I think nobody can question that. At the same time, nobody can really put that into a certain like box or something. Like I think everybody has its own understanding what that is, and like most of all, like as I mentioned earlier, like if you stay curious, if you stay kind, and most of all, whatever you do to kind of like contribute to this continuity has to come from something that is like, in my opinion, like nothing else than like it's not empathy, but it's like stronger than that. It's like love or something. Like you have this continuity, and you have two decisions. You can either be part of it, contribute, just leave it and go and die and just don't do anything to it. But because it is continuous, because this is just this internal thing that goes on and on, I think it's certainly the more enjoyable path to go to contribute to something to it. And if this continuity can only exist if you keep on creating things, if you keep on producing things, if you keep on making something new, and this starts with something that is, in my opinion, love. Like there's no other reason why you would keep on doing stuff.
Okay.
And this is where it's like the common ground is, and this is like, you can call this continuity like a god or something, or you can call that even your job. Like if you love your job for a specific reason, that's fine, but you have this one thing that kind of keeps on, like this is the reason why you keep doing that.
Sure.
That's fine.
Let me give you my take on this, how we can use certain tools that are at our disposal to understand the nature of that something which always exists. Because something always existing is mind-boggling, something always there. Imagine, always there. And this something has been the cause of the subsequent things to come. Because we are here because of what this something that always exists has brought about here. So if I gave you a particular piece of equipment like this camera over there, you haven't personally seen the maker of this camera. You haven't seen whether, because as you can see, it's been actually covered by a particular camera cover, right? Yep. Suppose you don't have any knowledge about how iPhones are made, because it's actually an iPhone, right? With the three lenses and so on.
Yeah, we all know.
Suppose you didn't know about it.
I actually don't know. Okay.
But if I told you this particular piece of equipment, it can record speech and picture at the same time, motion picture at the same time as sound, and replay back, and you can see yourself recorded, the conversation that we had later on, you would say this particular piece of work has behind it intelligence, who brought all these pieces together using knowledge of physics, mathematics, and a lot of other associated branch of knowledge to bring about a device which comes together in this piece to do this job. So you will attribute a will, someone or some group of people or a company, whatever, the will intended to bring about this piece with this particular function that it's doing. A will. You would also attribute behind this there is intelligence and wisdom. Knowledge, intelligence and wisdom, which was put into place because you and I, if I were to ask you, look, I'm not an electrical engineer, right? I'm not a mathematician either. Neither am I a physicist. I cannot just take raw materials from planet Earth, sit down on my particular office, and then bring about this phone. Right? I can't do that. I know that. It requires a lot of intelligence, knowledge, and wisdom to bring about this phone. So we can attribute behind this particular object. What is behind is whatever it is, possessor of intelligence, possessor. Wait a second. Wait a second. Let me finish.
I need to interrupt here because
can I finish my point?
You're comparing an iPhone to yourself.
No. Can I make my point and then? No. Hold on. We are now getting there somewhere, right? That's why you're seeing where I'm going there. So at least what I'm saying, I am attributing on this particular piece something or someone possesses knowledge, wisdom, intelligence, will, as well as the capability or energy, has something there to bring about something. Just by merely observing this particular piece. So when we observe the cosmos, our reality all around us, and we want to equate how did our reality come to the state it is in now compared to something that always existed, we can postulate reasonably and rationally that behind our cosmos as it stands now, there has to be a possessor of will or intention, knowledge and wisdom, as well as possessor of energy. So that's something, eventually, if it's the ultimate something in the distant past, has to be a possessor of these attributes. That's how we can come about knowing by looking at the reality. Do you have anything to say? Then I'll go to Alex.
So before I do this, we've got to get a train in about 10 minutes. Can you make this really quick before we do this? I'll let you have the last word, actually.
The point is, like, I think we cannot allow ourselves to exclude options. We have to stay curious, so to find out what actually the answer is. And there's maybe a path an answer we'll never get, but I think like the search for the answer is quite exciting. So
yeah, but do you agree? We do have the tools. We do have the tools. What we need is the intention behind the tools to use it. For example, you might not be interested right now to consider these existential questions because you're busy with your exam, your life, your work, your studies, your interests in politics and so on and so forth. What I'm saying is there are priorities at stake. We have to prioritize what's the most important first for us, and then we do according to our priority. In any workplace, when I have, say, 5 jobs to do, I don't just go and start with number 1. Because number 1 may be the least one that's needed right now. It may have a deadline for 2 months. And number 5, number 5 may be the one that is needed now, tomorrow. So we always have to prioritize. When it comes to our life and our death, and our reality, and our relation to us and the cosmos, I think you and I both need to consider the priority is not what we think is politics there, how we can better the society, or how we can better find a good educational establishment to continue our education, or get a better job, or change to a better job. But there has to be something deeper than that. Myself, I'm here. Why? Where did I come from? What am I doing? Where am I going? Once we have this as a priority, then everything will fit into this, and then you will see how life becomes meaningful to live.
I don't disagree.
Currently, you understand that life we should live according to this tolerance and understanding and respect. But once you realize and internalize this feeling that you are here by the reason and cause of a creator for a purpose, you will feel much better in your tranquility in your heart.
Thank you very much. On that note, we really have to go get a train.
I know.
But thank you so much. It's been a really interesting discussion.
Likewise.
We're not necessarily agreeing, but actually I think we do have certain areas where we have common ground. We're humans at the end of the day. So thank you very much for that. It's been a pleasure.
It's a pleasure, likewise.
It was interesting, yeah.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
I also
Thank you
never
so
did
much.
that. So.
Take care.
Take care, you.
All the best.
Have a wonderful
Bye.
evening and enjoy the sun while you can.
See you later.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.